Hey guys! All right, just getting situated here. I'm a couple minutes late, but it's been a really big week. So many things have been happening, and yeah, it was a wonderful week because my mentor came to town. So I've been riding with Charles for like forever. Over 30 years. And when he said to me, I think we were talking on the phone we were doing these talks about going over one of my favorite books, which I call it's my Bible, Dressage Principles Illuminated by Charles de Kunffy. It's like such a great book. It's actually, I have it right here because I am preparing for my lecture tonight, which I'll talk a little bit about that too, because I'm really excited. But the weekend was so great. Like Charles and I had been talking earlier in the summer, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm traveling," and I was like, "Okay, so if you are getting on airplanes, then you are getting on an airplane to come here." So yeah, he was in really good health. And he did 4 amazing days. Like, gosh, he's just amazing. Talk about life goals as far as what I want to be like when I'm in my 80s, my early 80s. Unbelievable. So it was probably my favorite visit I've ever had with him. He stays here in the house with us, which is really special, and we have a lot of wonderful conversations. At one point we were both laughing so hard we were crying. He's just such a special human being. Not only is he a complete master with horses and teaching, and I work every day to emulate his grace and eloquence and patience and knowledge and good humor. Like, I just am impressed by him every time. But then we come down here and we're watching whatever TV together. I think one night we watched Rick Steves. We went to Budapest, Hungary, because of course we can't travel. So Rick Steves took us to Budapest, and that was really fun to sit with him, who grew up there. I lived there for almost 2.5 years on the Buda side of Budapest. So that was fun to see all those wonderful things and talk about his palace and where he grew up. And, then we started talking about the war, and that's amazingly powerful. And like here in America, like we don't have any idea what that would be like. Yeah, it was powerful. Because then of course the next night after he taught the whole day, the first 2 days he did 8 lessons a day, 40-minute lessons, 8 lessons. Me and my clients rode as many horses as we possibly could. I think even next time he comes, I think I'll just have him sit in the arena and I'll just like ride every horse in my stable. He could just sit there and tell me what he thinks. But then I think it was maybe Friday night. No, maybe it was Saturday night. After he did these amazing lectures in the morning and we were live streaming even in Australia. It was an amazing event. And thank you to Cerise and Catherine and their team for making that happen. You guys can still purchase that because it was amazing. We did lectures in the morning and then a riding demo before lunch. And then we went in the afternoon, we had the instructors get involved. So we met so many nice people from so many places. Cindy and Tammy from Colorado, and Reggie from Arizona, Patrick and Lisa came from Wisconsin. Rick was there from Ohio. It was so great. It was so fun. So then in the afternoon, we all spoke about like what we were seeing, how we wanted to change it, where was it caused from, what was the symptom, what was the real reason the horse tossed its head. And we just really broke it down. And so, at the end of the day, it was like, okay, what does everybody want from this event? And everyone had said, I want to get into Charles's brain and just to see how he analyzes and figures out what's the biggest thing that needs fixing. So that was a wonderful event. But then again, at night, we would come down to the house and I would continue. I had to ride always a couple horses after the clinic. So I'd come home and my wonderful husband, Richard, would cook a wonderful meal for us. And then Charles and I would be laughing and telling stories. But then we watched a show on Hitler and the SS Army and the underground communication. And I can't really explain the feeling of sitting next to someone who actually lived through that was incredibly powerful. And to just hear his stories on how they were living in their palace and the Nazis, had come but the SS Army was like, whew. I mean, the Russians were, wow. I mean, to hear him tell the story and then how he got out, and it's so painful, he doesn't really even talk about that part exactly in much detail. But then he had to buy his parents and bribe his parents out of the country. It was powerful stuff. We talked a lot about training horses all weekend, which was amazing. But then to, talk about art and talk about, the Age of Enlightenment and the Baroque era, and then looking over Budapest, and then talking about how his life changed as the SS Army came to town. I mean, it was an amazing weekend. So we're all going to make this available in the Academy because it was epic. He was so good. And we had all kinds of different horses in the clinic. I rode 2 Apollo. I think I shared a video here. And then Denali was amazing. Huge change again. And then we had a little 4-year-old in the clinic, a 5-year-old in the clinic. So it was really fun to see young horses, old horses. Charles creates magic in 40 minutes like I have never seen anyone ever do that. Amazing. So I think we're gonna do it a little bit different next time because it works better for our program to ride our horses in the clinic the first 2 days and then they can have the next 2 days off. So that was worked best for us. Otherwise we've got 22 horses to ride before the seminar, at lunch, and after the seminar. And I know I have lights in my arena, but it makes for an exhausting week, really, preparing for the clinic and all of that. Everything was clean. I mean, my staff did an amazing job. Ashley, Jess, and I rode horses everywhere all the time without missing much of the clinic because, of course, we love to watch as much as Charles as possible. But I think next time we do this, which we are looking to do it in June of next year, 2021, everybody wants to get inside Charles's brain the first 2 days. So we're thinking about making the seminar the first 2 days, and then people just want to watch the magic happen. So I think we're going to probably do that in June. And just bring your riding pants because I might have horses for everybody to ride because we won't be able to get them all. So we're already making plans for next year. We're going to create in the Academy that you don't have to be a member of the Academy, but of course you should be. But you can just purchase all of those things outright. So you can buy the lectures and the instructor seminar piece, which in the afternoon we had demo horses and demo riders, 2 and 3 at a time. So we could sort of speed everything up and get going on that. really analyze, it's the whole diagnostics of like, I need to diagnose what's the biggest issue. And then I need to prescribe the right exercise, which is going to make the rider more effective as well as improve the horse. And then the horse needs this exercise because of these reasons. He's just like, yeah, Catherine, our best event yet. It was awesome. I can't wait to do it again. So that's going to be available. And also the clinic, honestly, like the clinic he was in such great form and he just brings the magic. So we're going to also make available the clinic. So we'll pick out the most special rides. I know Catherine Short is not really on Facebook, but her little 5-year-old, her little Connemara, Devlin, was like a showstopper. Jessica Davis, one of my riders, she rode him, did a beautiful job. Transformation. It was incredible. So we sold all his books and all his videos. So check it all out. I don't remember, Catherine could probably say when we did this, but a couple years ago, I came up with this great idea that I want to just like sit on my porch and talk with Charles. Like I have heard these stories forever. Everybody needs to hear them. Everything about like elegance, about his mother, about his story. God, he's just such an inspirational human being. Just the amount of character is just astounding to me. So everybody needs to hear about that. So we, on my front porch, I think it was a couple years ago, we have something we called Conversations with Charles, where I just get him talking and he just goes into, why it's important to have an academy, which is why we created one. It's not the same kind of academy he talks about. Obviously, because of COVID, nobody could travel anywhere, so we had to go online. But we're thrilled to death with how it's bringing people together, how people are inspired, how people are thinking a little bit deeper through the way they're training their horses. Their horses are happy, their relationships are growing. So it's really great. But we're also going to have something in the academy that you can purchase too, where it's more discussions about life and Charles's thoughts on life, and not so much horses, but those are brilliant too. So we're excited about that. It was so great. I can't believe we were live streaming in Australia. It was so great. It's so fun. Like one of my biggest passions is sharing classical dressage with everyone who will possibly want to hear anything about it. I just want to just get it out there. So the fact that we were like live streaming, it was so great. So thank you guys all for joining. That was amazing. Takeaways. Charles is always right. And there's so many pieces. I mean, for me, just always getting better in my seat. Always being lighter in the connection, getting the horse equally loading into both hind legs. As much as he is so much about like lengthen your reins, sit in the saddle and slow down, he is equally as much go for like shorten your reins and book it, So he's just amazing, and you guys should come and watch. So that'll be great. Hopefully by next June, y'all can come in person, and we'll have our deck in the arena organized, and it'll be great. What else happened? Everyone is healthy, so that was a good week. We've had a couple of exciting vet checks this week. We're gonna have a couple of really exciting announcements soon about some really special horses going to some really special people. Really excited about that. Eric came over and we did some beautiful filming with the drone. I think I will post some videos because Gideon he was hilarious. And I have figured out that the drone will make a very good schooling piece for the Piaffe and the Passage. Not so great on the tempi changes, but for the Piaffe and the Passage, just get yourself a little drone and fly it around, maybe like 15 feet away. That seemed to be like the hot ticket. So Gideon was great. But we got some really fun interviews and some beautiful footage. The trees are beautiful right now. And it was before the rain. And yeah, that was great. And then yesterday, we're so grateful to Kim Gentry, who came. And literally, we were in the arena from like 8 o'clock in the morning till like after 7 p.m. So good thing we got lights because it was amazing. We're going to do something like somehow in the academy because it is astounding. Horses with tongue problems, horses that pull, horses that don't want to pull, horses too strong on one side. I mean, yeah, we got to ride them better and we got to sit better and, you know, all the things. And I am excited about my lecture. I'll go into that in a minute about balance. But the bits, like Kim was amazing. She comes with like these suitcases of bits, like, oh my God, so many. And we just get to try them on. Nope, don't like that one. Try a different one. Nope, she does not like this one. Put in a different one. Oh, she loves this. What else do you have? It was totally great. And so that was a long day of bit fitting. It's been long days lately, but not because anybody's sick or colicking. So knock on some wood. We're all still in good shape. So yeah, it was a great week, and I'm so excited about my lecture tonight. And I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be able to stay on here tonight. But the lecture I'm doing is about the balanced horse and rider, and it was so fun to put this all together. It sort of took a life onto its own, and you know, just to say a couple of quick things about balance is, you know, because the whole part is like this Riding Your Horse Sound series. The first one last month was about why it's important to put your horse on the bit, because we have to allow the horse to carry us in a way that doesn't cause him pain. And so longitudinal flexion is like number one priority about being able to take the next step, which is the balance part. And let me see if I can just pull up my little note here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little picture right there of 4 little horse hooves. So that is being stacked up on all 4 corners. And I know that sounds like a really easy concept to think about, but like really, when you think about the horse's 4 hooves, and that first and foremost, what we really want is that the horse is equally balanced over all 4 feet. And in those feet, like the horseshoe, I actually have a coaster here because I'm that girl. So like all of these nails on this shoe need to like hit the ground the same. So you don't want the horse like over on this toe or hitting on the outside, or, you know, it has to be like clop, like boom, like right there on all 4. Because when you first have that, then it's going to be possible to step by step, year after year, minute after minute, work towards that ideal of that levade idea. And Charles did some handouts for us. So there's the levade. Ooh, that's a good one too. But this one's really seated. I mean, that horse is almost sitting on his hocks. I mean, amazing, right? This is the ideal for collection. Oh God, it's just amazing. I mean, it's really amazing. And like, because we don't go to the Spanish riding school and we don't train airs above the ground and things like that, it's easy to forget that that is past Piaffe. Like beyond Piaffe is this idea of this levad. And the horse on two little hooves this size is supposed to hold its 1,200 pounds up, balanced on those 2 feet. Like, whoa, amazing. So yeah, it's really got me thinking this whole week, and all through the clinic I was jotting down my notes because I'm also a note taker. Just how do we create that, and what is balance, and where does the horse need to be balanced, and what does it look like when he is balanced, and on the other side of that, what does it look like when it's not balanced? What does it even sound like when it's not balanced? Sometimes I just listen to their hooves and I just want to feel that that rhythm is really repeatable and cyclical, and there's no one really heavy foot, happening. And then I got into, okay, then what's a balanced rider? And it's so easy to it's not easy. None of this is easy. But like the whole idea of like a balanced rider, and where do we feel it in our torso? What should that feel like in my seat bones, in my legs, in my reins? Like, what is that balance? But then, of course, because this is who I am, I went into like a whole nother 2 pages, 2.5 pages, about like other things in riding, like your imagination versus reality. Like, does that match? Like, is that balanced? Like, I always say to my riders and trainers that, well, you have to kind of have an imagination so you can train the horse with inspiration. Where are we going? Where do I want, in my grandest dream, where do I want this horse to go? And then I have to make sure that, again, this balance of like, well, I'd like it to go to the Olympics. And it's like, well, it's like 13 with an old suspensory and really 2 different front feet, and it sticks its tongue way out, and it's only 3rd level. So that's going to be hard, right? So that's that balance of this reality of what is it, what is really happening, not what I think is happening, not what I feel is happening, not what I want to, but what is actually here right now. And then like to mix that with the imagination. A lot of times I have people call, if we're selling a young horse, it'll be like, does it have Grand Prix potential? And it's like, yeah, because it's like 3 and who knows what's going to happen in its life. But then the question is like, do you have Grand Prix potential? Like, are you in good shape and your back is good and you just whatever, like whatever's going to make that be a Grand Prix rider for that person. Like, is that possible? What are the obstacles to overcome to get that to happen? So yeah, I really went into this deep, because then it even got into like, for the balanced rider, like driving versus patience. And by drive, I meant like ambition. And so that got into a whole thing of like, when do I push it to get the next best thing? And when is it the moment to like leave it alone and come at it a different way, a different day, whatever. I do think one of the last pieces of the lecture tonight is an interesting thing that I'll leave you guys with, because I've had this conversation with a couple of my students, and it's the idea of like, again, like this balance of knowing versus questioning. And of course, everything needs to be in balance. Like everything needs like its yin and its yang and its harmony with both sides, because that's, a balanced life as well. And the thing about this knowing versus questioning thing is I think a lot of amateurs and any of us really learning in the beginning, do a lot of, well, I'm not sure I'm doing it right. Ooh, I think I did that wrong. And like you ask for something and the horse like doesn't do it. And then you stop and you're like, I think I did it wrong. Ooh, I did it wrong again. What did I do wrong? How can I do that better? And the horse cannot, a lot of times we think they can read our minds, but not in this instance. This is like, he's like, what do you want me to do? You asked me for something. I did not do it. And then I did not get held accountable for anything. And so maybe I didn't do it. And maybe that was right because the pressure went away. Right? And the rider is coming from like such a wonderful place of wondering, like, did they do it wrong? I think they did it wrong. Oops. I don't think my outside leg went back far enough. Oof. I asked him to canter and my outside leg must have not gone back far enough. Did it go back far enough? And by that time, the horse is like, I do what I want. Like if you don't know what you want me to do, I'm just going to do whatever I want to, which is usually like involves less energy, but it's like, we have to be able to be in control. We have to be able to drive the horse forward. That's all part of the who's the alpha and who's the beta. And so it's always this interesting place of like your conviction of like, we had this in the clinic with one of my dear clients who is like improving like amazing. I don't know if Catherine's on here tonight. Oh, there she is. Hey, we're talking about it. He doesn't like to pick up the right lead canter, and she doesn't really like to pick up the right lead canter either. But when even we're questioning it from this good place in our heart of like, I don't think I did it right, the horse just learns to like, you're not going to make him do it. So then they, just stop doing it. And then they do a little less, and then they do a lot less, and then they're not doing anything you want them to do. And then they come up with their own ideas, which is usually never a good idea. Don't run out the door. Don't spook at the birds. Whatever they're doing. They're doing whatever they want. And so this idea of this conviction, I remember I had this wonderful, nice lady come down when I was teaching in Tennessee a couple of years ago. And she came down in her little snaffle bridle and no flash and really soft reins and, no boots on the horse's legs. And, she's like, I really want your help with my one-time tempies. And I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, maybe you should just get on and you should do it. And I'm like, oh, I'll just warm up a little bit and see what you're doing. And she's like, I don't have any idea what I'm doing. She's like, I'm not a dressage rider. She's like, I do Pirelli. She's like, I trained this horse from the ground and then I got on it and I thought, well, I'm going to do some dressage. And so then she decided to like teach it all these things. And the thing, it was amazing. She didn't know if she was right or wrong. She didn't care if she was right or wrong. She saw it on a YouTube Passage. She taught him how to do that. She saw on Piaf, she figured out how to teach him that. So now she couldn't do the one-time tempies. She's like, I think maybe you should get on him. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to do them how I would do them, because her conviction that she knew she could train that horse, and she just fiddled around. She didn't like right or wrong or from the book or not from the book. Like she just followed her feel, went on her conviction and trained that horse. And it was awesome. She got her one-time tempies and, it was awesome. But it just was a moment of like, we all are trying to like follow the book and like, ooh, my leg wasn't back 1 inch far enough. I was like, this lady, she did not care where her leg was. If she thought to canter, that horse better canter. And I just love that. So I want to toast tonight. Here we go. Toasting tonight to finding your conviction, whatever that might be. Finding your balance, whatever that might be. I hope you join us for the lecture because I think it's going to be a really good one tonight. I'm really excited. So until then, I will see you soon and make it a great week, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye.